Hello, my name is Maxine Mjoen, and I'm a part of Dr. Arnar's book and media course. Before I get started, I wanted to sincerely thank you for taking the time out of your day in this chaotic time to watch my presentation. I hope that you learned something and enjoy. Okay. Books are the vessel by which information travels through time to new generations of different cultures in new places. Without books, which includes tablets and scrolls, not just the classic codex, we would have very little information about humanity's rich and varied history. My favorite kind of books are grimoires because they reveal a more secret and taboo side to our past. Grimoire is conventionally defined as a textbook of magic, especially one that codifies talismans, spells, charms, and summoning. But magic has a very fluid definition. Some define magic as outside of science and religion, but I disagree with that because science has evolved so much and many religions celebrate magic. To me, communicating with spirits and warding your house for protection are magic, but so are physics and chemistry and that special feeling of unity and peace you get in your spirituality, no matter if that's hiking in nature or in a church congregation. So my definition of magic, and therefore grimoires, is more fluid than some others may agree with. If a herbal apothecary recipe book and an astrology manual could be considered a grimoire, why not grandma's cookbook or your physics textbooks? Magic is as ingrained in us as language, art, and desire. The oldest forms of magic were probably used to predict or influence a successful hunt, or to heal sick and injured people. Like most traditions, civilizations passed magic orally until writing was invented and the art of magic could be written down and passed through the generations via tablets, scrolls, runes, and codices. This allowed for magic to become used more widely. The oldest written magic, the first grimoires, appear in Mesopotamia, where the peoples used magic to make sense of the world around them. Mesopotamian magicians had diverse responsibilities, from healing to funerals to literature and deciphering omens. Magic would have been used to predict the fates of kings, combat negative ghosts, spirits, or demons, and to prevent one from falling out of favor with their god or goddess. The only reason we know anything about the magical components to this ancient culture the extensive cuneiform on tablets that have been found to detail medical substances, technical skills, how to interpret natural omens, spells, and descriptions of magic practitioners themselves. These spells were compiled into several standard texts, recovered from the famous library of Ashurbanipal in Nineveh and from the city of Sippar, which was a major learning center. Here are some cuneiform tablets that are believed to contain magic on them. Egyptian magic was extremely scientific. They practiced with immense precision and were highly organized and systemic. While the Egyptian occult practices were richly varied, the most famous Egyptian grimoire is the Book of the Dead. Here are some pages from the Book of the Dead. They described the ways that you care for and basically send the dead into the next world. The earliest and most sacred of the Indo-Aryan texts are the Vedas. The Vedas knowledge encompasses all aspects of life, and having withstood the test of time, they remain a well-respected well of wisdom for modern Hinduism. The Vedas may have been written in the Bronze Age, but date back much further via oral tradition. These sacred written texts cover all aspects of mankind, and while most of it wouldn't be considered magic, it does include mythological accounts and yajna, which were sacrifices or offerings made to the gods. Here are some different copies of the Vedas, which there are many, many copies of, and consists of 4 books with different components to them. Magic was recorded more readily from the 10th to 17th centuries. Surviving examples include the 14th century book of Abramelin Mage, which was the account of a man named Abraham of Worms passing his magical knowledge to his son, the 17th century anonymous demonology grimoire, the Lesser Key of Solomon, the 10th century Picatrix, the Arabian book of astrology and occultism, the 14th century Arbitral de Magia Veritarum, which was an influential book of spells, advice, and guidance popular in the Renaissance period, and the Voynich manuscript, which is a grimoire that has been difficult to decipher, famously difficult to decipher, but it appears to detail information pertaining particularly to women, like birthing and anatomy. After the Black Plague swept Europe, many were suspicious that the elderly healers practicing witchcraft could have been the cause of the immense death, and in 1486, the Malleus Maleficarum was published. This book detailed how to find a witch, how to tell if she had infected other women with witchcraft, and how to kill her. The witch hunts began in Europe and spread rapidly into the American colonies. And from the 16th century to the 18th century, it is estimated that 40 to 50,000 people were executed for witchcraft or suspected witchcraft, though numbers could be higher, and the executions of accused witches has happened as recently as 2012. 2012, but that's really recently. Most magic centered around healing, philosophy, and spiritual protection. Imagine how much valuable knowledge was lost during these witch hunts. Every wise woman who knew how to heal something, or every old man who knew a different spell, gone. Even those who survived stopped practicing magic out of fear of persecution, especially after the Crusades. Something that Dr. Stephen Skinner, who is a scholar on the subject of grimoires, has found in his research is the phrase, do the usual. For example, at the start of a spell, to set it up, do the usual. Or if your spell is going wrong, do the usual. But we don't know what that means. We've lost what the usual is. But some other possibilities for information lost to the witch hunts are some less painful or safer birthing rituals, healing or preventing illnesses and disabilities that are rampant today, or protection from malevolent spirits and demons. Fortunately, a lot of information has survived the brutalities of history in grimoires. It not only preserves spells, rituals, and magical instructions, these books also save some of the richest portions of cultures from around the world. Without books like grimoires, history would surely look duller. To those who practice magic or are interested in the occult, these precious books hold the only surviving knowledge from these periods. This is why I believe we are so lucky to have the information we do, and why we should copy these old texts, preserve the originals, and expand on them. Really delve into them and figure out where the gaps are and how to fill them. In my research, I kept coming across scholars like Dr. Stephen Skinner, who has written dozens of books on these beautiful, beautiful grimoires and has really delved into feng shui, which is a type of Chinese magic, and his website has a lot of really good information. It's called the Esoteric Archives. It's just wonderful, so much free information. Joseph H. Peterson, Aaron Licht, and Mary Pat Fisher are also delving into these grimoires. They're delving into these rich codices and bringing their knowledge to light. And we need people like these to continue to do this, and maybe we can start practicing magic again. I once again thank you for watching my presentation, and I wish you health and healing in these crazy times. I am going to see if I can show you my bibliography is quite extensive for this research. Unfortunately, because of the virus, I was unable to really share or to really read any of like Dr. Stephen Skinner's books or uh, delve into any uh, physical sources. But here's my source list, and I highly recommend delving into these. And yes. So this is the one of the websites is esotericarchives.com. It's a wonderful resource. But yes, thank you so much for watching my presentation, and I hope that you and your loved ones are happy, safe, and healthy in this time. Thank you.